All Hallows Defense. Written by McGarvey. Produced by Trouble Twins Publishing. Morgana touched down in the clearing, her broomstick landing with practiced grace on the frost-hardened ground. The old oak stood sentinel at the clearing's edge, branches bare against the October sky. Perfect, isolated, 3 miles from the nearest house, except for the minivan. A Honda Odyssey Silver parked at the clearing's edge like someone had GPSed their way to an ancient ritual site, which apparently someone had. Prudence landed seconds later, robes billowing. She was older than Morgana by 2 centuries, gray braids wrapped around her head like a crown. She stared at the minivan. "What fresh hell is this?" "I have no idea." Morgana dismounted, leaning her broom against the oak. "You think hunters found us?" "Hunters don't drive minivans." Prudence circled the vehicle. "They have 'My child is an honor student at Riverside Elementary' on the bumper, and a stick figure family." Morgana looked closer. 5 stick figures. Mom, Dad, 3 kids, a dog. "You think it's a trap?" "If it is, it's the weirdest trap I've seen in 400 years. The driver's door opened. A woman climbed out, mid-30s, blonde highlights, yoga pants, North Face fleece. She carried a canvas tote bag that said, "Wine o'clock somewhere." "Hi," she waved. "Sorry I'm late. Soccer practice ran over, and then I had to wait for my mother-in-law to pick up the kids for trick or treating, and traffic on Route 7 was a nightmare." Morgana and Prudence stared. The woman walked over, hand extended. "I'm Karen. You must be Morgana and Prudence. Great to finally meet in person. Your emails are always so helpful." "Emails?" Morgana shook her hand on autopilot. "The Coven listserv? I've been lurking for like 2 years, but this is my first in-person meeting. I'm so excited." Karen set down her tote. "I brought supplies, cinnamon sticks, whole cloves, star anise, and a bottle of Everclear because the recipe said strong spirits, and I figured, go hard or go home." Prudence found her voice. "Yeah, you're a witch." "3rd generation. My grandmother taught me when I was 7. Karen pulled ingredients from her bag. "Haven't practiced much since college. Life got busy. Marriage, kids, PTA. But I saw the alert about tonight, and I thought, okay, Karen, you need to get back in touch with your roots. Plus, my husband's at a conference and the kids are with Grandma, so free night." Morgana looked at Prudence. Prudence shrugged. "Right," Morgana said. "Well, welcome to the Coven." "Thanks," Karen beamed. "So where's the cauldron?" "I brought my own, but I figured you'd have one here already." "There," Prudence pointed at the massive iron cauldron sitting over a fire pit. Morgana had transported it here yesterday, dragged it from her basement with levitation spells and considerable effort. Karen examined it. "Nice. Cast iron, pre-seasoned. It's 300 years old." "Perfect. Nothing beats vintage cookware." Karen started unpacking. Apples, brown sugar, more spices. She moved with efficiency, like she'd done this 1,000 times. "So what's the plan? Brew at moonrise, perform the protection rites?" "I brought my grimoire, but I figured you two would lead since you've done this before." "You've never done an All Hallows ritual?" Morgana asked. "Not since I was 19, and that was just a college thing. We mostly got drunk and made out with art students." Karen measured cinnamon into a bowl. "This is the real deal, right? Spirits crossing over, veil at its thinnest, the works?" "Yes," Prudence said slowly. "This is the real deal." "Awesome." Karen pulled out a lighter. "Let's get this fire going." 2 hours later, the cauldron bubbled with hard cider, sugar, and spices mixing with alcohol until the clearing smelled like Christmas. The 3 of them sat around the fire in comfy lawn chairs that Karen had brought, Morgana and Prudence in traditional robes, Karen in her fleece and yoga pants, sipping cider from a thermos. "This is really good," Karen said. "You should sell this at farmers markets." "We're not brewing for profit," Prudence said. "We're brewing for power." "Right, obviously, but also this could retail for $20 a bottle easy." The moon rose full and bright. Morgana felt the shift immediately. The air thickened. The temperature dropped. The veil between worlds went thin as tissue paper. "It's starting," she said. Karen set down her thermos, pulled out 2 cans of salt from her tote. Should I make the circle now or wait? Now's good. Karen walked the clearing's perimeter, pouring salt in a steady line. Her hands were steady. No hesitation. She finished the circle and came back to the fire. Anything else? Just wait, Morgana said, and when they come through, don't break the circle. Got it. The first spirit manifested at midnight, a shadow at the clearing's edge testing the veil, then another, then 6 more. They pushed through, gaining solidity, taking form. Spirits, dozens of them, some recent, some ancient. All hungry for life, for bodies, for the chance to stay. One drifted toward the circle. Morgana raised her hand, spoke the words of binding. The spirit recoiled. 2 more approached from the left. Prudence blocked them with a shield spell, but more kept coming. Too many. They surrounded the circle, pressing against the salt line, testing for weakness. There's a lot of them, Karen said. Her voice was calm, matter-of-fact. More than I expected. This is normal, Morgana said. She threw up another shield. Her arms shook. We hold until dawn. They'll retreat when the sun rises. That's 6 hours away. Yes. A spirit found a gap in Prudence's shield, slipped through, made it 5 feet before Morgana caught it with a banishment spell. Okay, Karen said. She opened her tote bag. New plan? She pulled out a megaphone. Morgana blinked. What are you? Karen pressed the button. Her voice boomed across the clearing, amplified to painful levels. Attention, spirits, this is your final warning. You are trespassing on protected ground. Return to your realm immediately or face consequences. The spirits paused, turned toward her. Karen waited. Nothing happened. Right, consequences it is. She reached into her bag again, pulled out a super soaker. Bright orange, the kind kids used in the summer. Is that? Prudence started. Holy water. Karen pumped the handle. Blessed by Father Murphy at St. Catherine's. I volunteer at the church bake sales. He owed me a favor. She aimed at the nearest spirit, fired. The water hit it square in the chest. The spirit shrieked and dissolved. Works on spirits just like it works on vampires, Karen said. She fired again. Another spirit gone. Learned that from my grandmother. Morgana stared. Prudence's mouth hung open. Karen kept firing, methodical, efficient, like she was watering plants. Each shot found its target. Each spirit dissolved with a scream. I have 3 more super soakers in the van, she said between shots, plus iron filings in spray bottles, and a blessed baseball bat if things get physical. You brought a blessed baseball bat to a coven meeting? Morgana asked. I have 3 kids under 10, I'm always prepared. Karen reloaded from a water bottle in her bag. You 2 want to help or just watch? Morgana grabbed a super soaker from the minivan. Prudence took the other. They formed a line, 3 witches standing at the salt circle's edge, firing holy water at spirits like it was a carnival game. It took 20 minutes. By the end, the clearing was empty. The spirits had either dissolved or retreated. The veil sealed itself as midnight passed into the witching hour. Karen lowered her super soaker. That was intense. That was incredible, Prudence said. Where did you learn that technique? YouTube and desperation. Karen packed her weapons away. When you have 3 kids who refuse to sleep and a husband who travels for work, you learn to problem solve. Morgana sat heavily on the ground. We should have thought of that decades ago. Holy water in spray bottles is pretty obvious once you think about it. Karen checked her phone. Shoot, it's past 1. I should head out. My mother-in-law took the kids trick-or-treating and she's probably passed out on my couch by now. You're leaving? Prudence asked. Yeah, but this was fun. We should do it again, maybe make it a monthly thing. I could bring snacks. She hoisted her tote. Oh, and I have a fundraiser coming up for the school. If you want to buy some wrapping paper or cookie dough, I have a catalog. She walked to her minivan, started the engine, waved once before pulling out of the clearing, taillights disappearing down the dirt road. Morgana and Prudence sat in silence watching the fire die. Did that just happen? Morgana asked. A suburban soccer mom just saved All Hallows Eve with holy water and a megaphone. That's what I thought. They packed up the cauldron, doused the fire, mounted their brooms. We're inviting her back next year, Prudence said, obviously. They flew home as the moon set, leaving the clearing empty and peaceful. Somewhere in a suburban neighborhood, Karen pulled into her driveway at 1:47 a.m. She grabbed her tote bag, tiptoed inside, found her mother-in-law asleep on the couch, candy wrappers on the coffee table. Tucked a blanket around her, checked on her sleeping children. Then she went to her bedroom, opened her closet, and carefully stored her super soakers next to the blessed ammunition, iron chains, and her grandmother's grimoire. Being a witch and a mom wasn't easy, but Karen had always been good at multitasking. She set her alarm for 6:30 a.m. The kids had soccer at 8. Tomorrow would be exhausting, but tonight had been perfect. About author L.A. McGarvey. L.A. McGarvey is a goat wrestling, loader-driving, horseback riding author with a unique sense of humor. Thank you for reading my book. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a moment, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review. Your honest feedback helps me improve my writing and reach more readers like you. It also helps other readers discover my book and decide if it's right for them. Thank you so much for your support.